So fidelity is number one
That's number one.
on any man's list.
Great. Okay, so let's start the conversation. I mean, Kofi, you want to add anything to that before we get into it, really?
Oh yeah, I think it's important to look at also what drives the man, or what
Okay.
their motivations are.
Exactly.
Some people are driven by how they've been socialized, maybe through family. Growing up, they've been taught what kind of women to look for, what kind of women to avoid, or maybe the women they've seen around in their home, their uncles' girlfriends, their uncles' wives, their sisters, how they carry themselves. These things influence people when it comes to making choices in relationships.
Okay.
And then I think it additionally maybe their education, their religious affiliations, these actually motivate or drive people to gravitate
Towards specific
towards
women.
one person or the other.
Yeah.
And then also some people are just moved by sight, what they see, physical attraction. Some people like curvaceous women, others like them slim for whatever reason. That's what moves them or that's what drives them. And then you also have personal values. Some people care a lot about morals and certain things that may be important to them, such as kindness, hard work, and things like that. So it comes down to what drives someone when it comes to making these choices. But then again, yes, when it comes to making the actual choices, there's so many things people look out for. Physical attraction is a big deal for men. A lot of people are moved by what they see. So
No, men are creatures of sight.
yeah,
So sight will do the work of attraction. But it is your character and the values and all those other things that will get you to stay.
We'll get in there.
some people would also say that they like intelligent women. They are not just looking at what they see, but what kind of conversation can I have with you? What can we talk about? Some people even think as far as what kind of children are we going to bring forth? Because obviously they think that if you're not smart now, maybe our children
Yeah,
may not be
genes.
as smart.
Yeah.
So
The children inherit your DNA.
yeah.
So if your genes are not strong or your genes are weak in that area,
Yeah.
then most likely the children are going to pick that.
And then sometimes timing may be a very important factor. Proximity, maybe some people just spend a lot of time together or they happen to be in a particular space at a particular time. For some people, it could just well be a rebound or whatever. They provided someone a shoulder to carry on and so on and so forth. So it is not everybody that is very logical and intentional when it comes to making choices as far as our choice of women are concerned.
Great. PG.
Right. I think that yes, I share, greatly the point shared by Kofi. I was going to touch on most of them, and so I greatly share. But there was one thing that he just said, picking from his last word, timing. But I want to look at time in terms of the place where a man is at the time he is looking for a partner.
Yeah.
Okay, so I always tell people, I'm in my mid-40s now. I would choose peace any day
Very
over
important.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace of mind.
Because, and I think that probably it was one of the drivers at the time I was making the choice. Anybody who knows my wife will tell you she's very phlegmatic, very laid back. So for me, peace matters because I don't thrive in chaos.
Yeah.
You understand? And then again, so there is that. And then there are those who make certain choices because at the time they were making those choices, they were in a particular financial situation. They were in a particular social situation. Let me not say financial, but social situation, which means that, it could be financial, it could be whatever.
Yeah.
Certain women were attractive and were appealing because they fitted in the reality that they found themselves in. So a lot of men sometimes, at the time they were making that choice, they were probably climbing up the social ladder. And so they made a choice. Like Kofi said, sometimes there isn't much thought in that decision.
Yeah.
He's, ready to marry. He's 30 years. My salary is this. I'm in this position. I want to go
can
here and
afford
everything.
this kind of
Charlie, you know
woman.
what? Let me just settle with this woman.
Yes.
Because that woman that he's settling with, comes with a certain level of financial responsibility that he thinks he can comfortably afford.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Certain level of humility, which means that it allows him social mobility and allows him to move around in order to chase his dream without the woman, controlling him, and a few other things. And
Social class.
And social class. And such a woman most likely won't also come from a very powerful family. And so that also gives him some leverage, that in his own little financial whatever, I'm not going into a house where people are going to stress me. So he makes very basic rudimentary
Monkeys
decisions. based
play
on-
by size.
Exactly.
I tell you.
So,
Exactly. And
see,
then he
the
jumps
thing
on
is that
it. And then he jumps on it. So you realize that as such a man is climbing up the social ladder, his taste in women keeps changing, which explains why most of our big people who started from way back, and now most of them don't flaunt their wives
Wives
again.
anymore.
You see them in social gatherings and they are just there with either other people or they are just there alone. You understand? Because suddenly it's dawned on them that where I wanted to go at the time I was making a choice, I did not make it a factor.
Very
I made the choice in the moment, at the time, not tagging or pairing my choice to where I want to be. But then again, there's also an existential truth. If you are not there, now a lot of women will tell you that
Exactly.
So a lot of the men are also then
Actually,
technically
you might
forced.
want it, but they won't choose you
Exactly.
because you don't have it. What it takes to
Exactly.
give the bone straight.
Exactly. You understand? So it's not a very simple, straight to the point thing. Sometimes there are some conditions that are originating from the men, and sometimes there are some situations that exist in the market, whether you like it or not. You can't help it. He also touched on something that I think is also very a key point. That's religious affiliation. It's one of the things that we downplay.
Yeah.
But religion plays a strong role in our choice of partners. Like the mere fact that I saw the woman in church is good enough for us. Now,
God-fearing.
we don't care what she was doing in church.
Even denominational differences.
Exactly. Because it goes down to doctrines. And doctrines
That's the point I was
shape
coming to.
behavior.
Doctrines shape your values.
Exactly. Doctrines shape your values. So, and that's something I always say in counseling. You understand? Like if you pick, there are some churches, there are some teachings they will never teach in the open church.
No.
They will never teach in the open church. So you pick people in that demographic, especially women in those demographic, and there is a higher than average level of morality within them.
Yeah.
If you consolidate women, I don't want to mention any church's name, but if you consolidate women in that church, you find that you are likely to find a lot of them those who are not married in their 30s, mid 30s, getting close to 40s, and they will tell you, I've not been with any man. Now, because for them, the morals have been put in them.
Please
And so-
advertise those churches so that the men can go there, because nothing we are struggling in the market.
I beg. So,
We are struggling in the market. So if there's a church, please say it so that we
A
go
woman
there.
would want a church in which they would stay married for a long time.
No.
So
I know some.
So there is that as well.
Yes.
You see, there is that as well, because what it also means is that while you are establishing these values and making it strong, we also find ourselves in a time and a generation where most men like to have these experiences before they go to the next level of committing, which then means that most women sometimes are forced to also open up. But actually, sometimes it's not the women being forced; they themselves also want
themselves
to have that
go,
experience. So, in the situation where the woman is not willing to have the experience and the guy wants it, but because of the woman's block, it cannot be held, most of the time the men move on. So, naturally, there's also the higher rate of them mostly going into mid 30s before they settle.
But you see,
Because of that moral block. But it takes a lot for people to finally decide that, well, this is the person I want. This is the person I want. It's multifaceted. And yes, it will come from different backgrounds, including individual values.
then again, there's the element of why men settle or marry.
Right.
Men marry for stability.
Okay, before we get into that, please hold it. I just want to touch on something PG mentioned. Some time ago, it was the talk on social media about men wanting peace of mind.
Yeah.
When you say a man wants, and I hear every man says it.
Yes.
As
I
we get
want
older.
when I am married, I want a woman who will create that haven for me, that peace of mind for me. What do men mean when they say they want peace of mind? Because for some women, it is a man saying that I want you to shut up and take my every nonsense and not snag or complain about it. And so for as long as you're doing, yes, sir, yes, please, not complaining, not asking questions, and he is able to do just what he wants to do, he has peace of mind. Is that it? Because we know that it is part of the peace of mind that they are asking for.
So really, from the onset, most men would not ask for peace of mind when we're getting married. But over time, as we get older, then we realize the importance of having a peaceful home, because then as we get
Kofi,
through...
what is a peaceful home?
You
A
don't
welcoming
go
home.
home to a nagging wife where there are always problems, there's always drama, because after a hard day's work, you want to go home and be able to unwind and have a safe haven, a safe place to just relax and regroup and come back the next day to
And
work
feel
fresh
loved.
and feel loved, of course, and so when men are going through what we term as a midlife crisis, and at some point they haven't achieved all they wish they would have achieved in life, and they're looking at their friends, and sometimes they feel like they've been left behind, they want that peace of mind to be able to think and plan for the future. They're looking at their responsibilities at home, the financial responsibilities, school fees, there's rent, trying to put up a house and all of it, and things are not going as expected. The last thing they want is drama in the house.
Okay, let me ask again, because this, I'm happy that you guys have brought it up, and I want us to drill it down a little bit. So I am not sure, or are there women who will just get up and decide that I want to be dramatic in my home? Nothing has happened. I am creating trouble. Like there's nothing. The moment you come back from work, I am giving it to
Edem. No, we don't have perfect families.
Great.
That is an existential truth we need to put out there.
Yeah.
Now, conflict is a concomitance of social interactions.
Inevitable.
So long as two people live together, there will be conflict.
Yes.
So conflict comes. Conflict is basically differences in opinion.
True.
You were raised differently, I was raised differently. I see the world, when it tilted like this, what I see is purple. According to you, you see it as blue because of where you are standing in relation to the light, to the color. So many weird things can bring about differences. And out of that, things sometimes get heated. Edem, what makes one woman dramatic over the other is your ability to hold yourself. And it's not just a woman thing, it's a human thing. Your ability to hold yourself, have meaningful conversation without escalating, be able to communicate without confrontation, be able to pass on the information kindly, gently. Oh, babe, what your friend is saying, the school fees, when say slim say in chia patrol, then as opposed to no cast go just school fees go try. When is the school for Africa? When is the school for Africa? You know what I mean?
So that's what we mean.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
How we even talk. And I like where Kofi picked it from. Charlie, you started life thinking that you're on a comfortable league.
Exactly.
The curve was good.
Yeah.
And then you put your kids in all these good schools. Charlie, things are not moving as fast as you want.
Yeah.
The economy is some way. Exchange rate is some way. So whatever dollar, whatever you were paying, now it's gone like 3 times. And your income is not matching. You're under extreme stress.
Yeah.
Now you have to decide what to do with your house. You have to decide what to do with your car. You have to decide what to do with the kids. You have to decide on so many things. You've also created a certain life for them. Yeah. And then you go to work and you come back home. And then while you are sitting there trying to process this,
taking plans,
then your wife is talking about a trip to, babe, the trip that we said we wanted to go to Dubai. No. Auntie, when was the last time did you even see us do proper groceries?
And you see, I always like to.
That naturally gets people off. Like, what is this? Can't you?
You're not being reasonable.
Exactly. Can you be a little bit reasonable? Can you
read the weather?
Read the room.
Read the weather.
What is this drama?
And you see, you always have these situations.
Okay.
You backtrack, rewind. If you go and check why the person married,
right,
and why the person married you, you would always get it from there. Because you see, a woman who married for love and chose you for the human being that you are, and not for the provision that you are, or the status you have, or the would not be considerate. So when they come, it's about an agenda. What I am coming for.
Amassing.
If it looks like you had this status when I came, you gave me this life. Now things have gone south, and you are bringing me down. My friends are going to laugh at me. People are going to look at me this way. Why should my children downgrade from GIS to a Catholic school or something? And they just can't take that change that has happened. And it is the reality of your life. And have you heard the phrase? Me man hon turn it that just why they am pay.
Hey, why you want to kill the person?
Yes.
And then they do that all the time.
They will hound you.
I see.
So above 5 per
This
now,
is
you must
where
start.
I think my husband should open a school.
Above 5 per.
But
None you must start to
And because I'm going home.
when he's going home, he will be okay in a good mood till he gets to a particular junction. Then the mood will change. So the strategy then is he gets to that place, he stops by the blue kiosk, then he takes some thoughts.
to go and face Madam at home.
Obeba no no why fine.
Yeah,
Would be facing it be an 2 things. Ada say efa ha ebefa happy. And I say what the man and your friend me very massy. No no straight release. Na mo dey sie ni.
What sort of home is this?
But Edem, you see, what also happens in this is that once the fight, the quarrels, the drama, it doesn't start one day, and it doesn't just blow out of proportion one day. It starts gradually. But you see, as we always say, men can't do a lot of multitasking. Men are not very qualitative when it comes to a lot of things. Men are very quantitative. 1 + 1 = 2. Pretty straight to the point. You understand? Women make a lot of nuanced decisions. So when it begins to get to a guy, his default position is to avoid coming home. Yes, withdraw. So that's like Kobna is saying. So now I close from work. I want to stay a bit in the office before I come home. Because I want to avoid a confrontation. Because if I'm put on the spot, I have 2 things. Either I ignore her or sometimes I may react.
Tell her off.
Exactly. And sometimes most men don't want to be caught in there. Ignoring means that you are losing your sense of power. You understand? Confrontation means that you are also acting cowardly, as some people might want to take such attacks to me. You understand? So sometimes a man is like, you know what, Charlie, let me just dog this. So then sometimes they stay in the office and then they pick on extra work, or they go to the pub, or they close from work, they look for friends.
Last week they said they call it unhealthy coping.
So they do all of these things. But guess where it gets bad? As the women are seeing that, they are now reading negative meanings into that.
There's another woman.
So the woman might think that, is the guy trying to escalate the thing? I will show you pepper more. So then the woman takes it a notch higher. Then the guy also escalates by withdrawing further. But you see, withdrawing this time also goes into ordinary conversations. So I'm not talking to you again. A conversation breaks down into on the need-to-know basis, transactional
Now you
basis.
are being dramatic.
Well, no, but that's what is happening.
Everybody is creating drama.
Yes, exactly. But the guy is not.
It's an action and a reaction.
Exactly. And the guy is not crying and throwing a pity party. He's dressing well, and probably at some point in time, he tells himself, "I'm not going to let this thing get to me." So he begins to ignore it, look good, come home feeling like everything is fine. Now the woman is thinking you are having an affair. Do you understand? So it becomes one thing, and as the guy is reacting, it is triggering another response in the woman. And so before you know, communication breaks down. And then when you sit down and you get to the bottom of it, you realize that it was nothing.
Okay. So what I am realizing, yes, Kofi, before you come in, I want us to put a few things into perspective. So I am getting it that if you need to choose a woman as a man, the choice starts with you, the man.
What can you handle?
Yes, because then you guys have talked about you knowing who you are and where you want to get to.
Exactly.
So you don't end up making decisions in the moment.
So to a point PG made, there's nothing wrong in choosing a woman from your social strata.
Okay.
Because that is what you are and that's what you can afford. The reality is that, especially in this part of the world, most likely a woman from a higher strata will never give you space. So you have to choose. But if you know you are an ambitious person, choleric in nature, you want to rise up to this level by this time. look for someone in that social structure who
come
has
up with
capacity
to come up with
to expand and grow with you.
Great.
Edem,
Yes.
I think one thing that we also need to touch on is emotional intelligence in a person, and it doesn't have to be only on the woman's side.
Yeah.
But some people simply don't know how to handle their emotions. They don't know how to handle confrontation. They don't know how to. Basically, it's like, this is how I feel, and so I'm acting in a certain way. You know, so it may not, in those instances, it may not be that they are bad people. You know, the wife may not be a bad person per se, but they simply don't know how to handle their emotions.
Yep.
And so they may come across as a witch. They want to just bring me down. They want to, you know, but they just need help. Some people need help.
Great. So we've ticked that one. And then we've looked at the general things that, will be looked at. You're looking at respect, attitude, character, fidelity, what drives, that woman. The men are looking at all of these. They're looking at education, depending on where you are in life. Your religious affiliations are important. They're looking at, physical attraction, because that's what will even draw the person to you in the first place before you start looking at all of these. If it is in your place to find an intelligent woman, now I think the men, they throw those words about loosely. I want a smart and an intelligent woman. They are not able to explain what they mean. You're considering the children you would want to have tomorrow.
Yes.
And this reminds me, my father-in-law, his soul, rest in peace. Remember, he was telling my husband that small, same price, big,
same price. Why go for small?
This was my father-in-law. He's so rest in peace. Then you're looking at your children, because their looks may matter to you, their smartness may matter to you, and all of these are in your genes and your DNA. So you're looking at all of these generally.
Yeah.
Then we're talking about timing. We talked a lot about timing. Where are you now? Is this woman what you need? And you clarified right now. Are they willing to even grow with you as you're coming up, and all that? And I thought that it would be important. Or is it early to start even considering what their love languages are? Because all of these things will matter eventually, And somebody talked about, could the person even be on a rebound?
Yeah,
that will inform their choices
exactly,
and the way they are looking at things as well.
The timing.
Then we talked about the big one, which is the peace of mind. And I went asking questions. So what I gather from this peace of mind is that we agree that conflicts are inevitable.
Right.
I do a lot of teaching on conflicts, because you conflict with yourself.
Yeah.
Every time most of the time, no, it's not every time, my bosses may be listening. Quite often, if I come to work late, it's because there's a huge conflict on what to wear. So even yourself as an individual, you have very conflicting moments with yourself. How much more living with somebody who's come from somewhere, you two from somewhere. And interestingly, you never knew each other until you probably met at some restaurants. Or met at a meeting,
or you were
met
introduced.
at church. Then you were introduced, and now you're trying to align the 25 years you have lived to the 25 years this person has lived. You are now coming to align them together. Certainly, there will be conflicts. So, on the thing of peace of mind, I pick it that, first of all, we all have to understand that conflicts are inevitable. They will come. But it is how you approach it that will bring the peace of mind. Am I right? I'm trying to learn. I have my notebook and my pen. So, yes, the woman will be upset about something. You will be upset about something. But in those moments when tempers are high, how are you dealing with it? Are you concerned about winning that argument, or concerned about maintaining the sanity in the relationship? And that is what men would usually tie peace of mind to. Am I right?
Right.
Okay.
Edem.
Then I wanted to ask, but Kofi, first I want to ask questions I don't know where you guys want us to learn this from, but few questions I have, okay, so you've considered all of these, and again there are 3 women who, you are counselors, so I'm sure you will take sex out and say that there are 3 women you are using your head to study, not using your physical self to go and get attached, and then your judgment is clouded. So you're a very focused human being, right? And most of them will take some of these things for you according to your values, because I'm not sure you're saying that these things should be it for everybody. If you don't care about a woman who has been to the university and you're sure that is your truth, that is your truth.
Yes. Absolutely.
If somebody cares about it, that is their truth. You know. So depending on where you are, you want to pick respect and define it for yourself. And see what if amongst these three people,
what it means.
Who takes? You want to pick education, and then define it for yourself and what you would like to have in the person. So all of these things are just pointers that you, the individual at home, will have to define for yourself. After you have done all of these, and you probably still have three people, Charlie, all of them, looking at them, they're also looking at you some way. But then what eventually will be those things that will make a man decide that, look, Akosia is good, Ikuya is good, Ya is good, but the deal breakers, I think that it will be this person. And remember that when you're making that decision, it means that you are also committing to make it work through and through. You're not leaving the work on the person. So when we get to that point, then you let me know like what the deal breakers really are, if we satisfy all of these. I also want to find out what will make a man develop cold feet. We're going good, we're going strong, then all of a sudden the person is not, you're not seeing them well. This is from the woman, right? And then they can end up dragging the relationship 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and you are still dating the person and you are not sure what is really happening, to it. They're not asking you to go, you are not asking to go, we are there, we don't know what is happening next. What pushes relationships to those stages from a man's perspective? Yes, those ones to start with. But Kofi, you wanted to make a point.
I wanted to say that we also need to situate our conversation in a particular context. There's a whole new generation out there who don't care or they don't even want to know all these things that we're talking about.
But that's why they have all the problems in the world.
I've met so many young people who are in relationships, and then you ask, what does he do? I don't know. Where does he live? I don't know.
And yes, you're in a relationship, you want to marry the person.
Yeah.
No, I've counseled a couple before, and I asked the gentleman, do you know where she wants to be in 10 years? He didn't have a clue.
That one grave gone.
And I asked the lady, where do you want to be in 10 years? She said, I want to be a lawyer. And I asked him, do you know this? He said, no.
Okay.
And I said, okay, so what do you talk about? So it depends on what the priority of the person is at that time. If he's looking for a woman to be in his house to clean, cook, have sex, and all that, those conversations won't come up.
Okay.
Yes, but if he's thinking deeper and more strategic, then you have a lot of these variables.
Is supposed to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think ultimately it comes down to how that woman makes the man feel. And I'm not just basing it on emotions, but how you make me feel in terms of checking certain boxes.
Are we talking about the deal breakers now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Whether it is respect, whether it is your acts of kindness or acts of service or whatever you do, how does it make me feel? Because for some people, even if it's just about physical attraction, how do you make me feel when I go out with you? And I'm getting fans and everybody's looking at you and wants to know who you are and so on and so forth. So it comes down to that innate feeling about, a sense of fulfillment because I'm with you.
Some of the deal breakers may not even be about the person. So you meet in Accra.
The external influence.
You hang out a bit. Then one day you decide to travel to the village. You go and see where she's coming from. You see the home, the kind of family. You see the way they talk. I on one occasion witnessed a situation where
this is really after you have considered all the things we have talked about.
Yeah. So you still have that. You think the person is still an okay person for you.
Exactly.
But now you realize that if I have children with this woman, my children are going to part of this family and this home. Now you look at the home and you look at their language, for example, how they talk. Now you go into a home, and if you grew up where I grew up, in the heart of where the action is in Accra.
Yes.
Where Kateshilebi abache, nonake bachembo. Then you know that, do I really want my children to grow up in this environment? Because you see, what you shouldn't forget is that you marry into a family. And you can't marry a woman and not say the family should not visit you or your children cannot visit them. So you begin to ask yourself that, this person is okay, but this kind of socialization there.
That's a big deal because you're creating your own nuclear family with this.
It is a big deal. If the man is deep enough, it will influence his decision not to go ahead.
Really?
Yeah, I saw there's an instance where the family is a very open one.
Why people can't come out of families and create their own world and realities?
No, there are some things, it forms who you are.
But you
can't take it out.
You've been with this person, so we're not talking about a person you have just met. You've been with this person. That's how come we talked about.
Wait till they get into their comfort zone. After they marry, you see, it will come. Some people can pretend. So you get into a family, and there's this instance where it's a very open family. They sit and talk and joke and all those things. Then at one instance, the person looks at the father and said, "Where Jimmy Powell?"
Oh.
Yeah. It is normal talk. And you ask yourself, in my house, you are not allowed to insult anybody. But this is how they are socialized. Because the person knows how you are, the person can put up and pretend. But once you marry and you settle down, the person will get into his elements. All those things will come up. The siblings and family and all that will come. Your children will go and visit and spend time with them, holidays. They'll pick up all these things. What do you do? So you have to think about all these things, actually.
Wow.
Talking about what do you call it, how people develop cold feet. Sometimes it's how they handle money. Initially, it was all lovey-dovey. We're going out, hanging out, going out on dates, and then all of a sudden, I realized that I can't trust you with money, or you have a very bad money management habit. You know, you just spend by heart. I'm going to start thinking that if I marry this woman, I'm never going to make it in life.
And that's what intro.
Yeah.
It's a major one.
I mean, Edem, there are a lot of things that will make a person develop cold feet, you know, like you have rightly said. I mean, you know, it could be lies, it could be money, it could be infidelity.
Yeah.
It could be stories that don't check.
Yes.
You know, you were telling me.
Not adding up.
Yes.
They don't add up.
You know, when we met, you told me this.
Yes.
This, and I've been living with this story. But I look like, this story, didn't check.
You know, there was this other guy.
Yeah. This cousin of yours. This cousin is too available.
This cousin is too cousin.
You don't know the cousin's mother.
The cousin is too cousin.
You know, so Edem, there are those
paying the school fees. No?
But I also think that there is another front or theater that has opened in the battle of relationship that most of the time we don't address. That is sometimes people come to date you with an expiry date in their mind.
Which one is that?
No, they didn't come for the long haul.
Yeah.
I will take you to
They came
with
with
my
plan B.
family. We will check the wedding dresses, the rings. We'll look out for all of them. But I just want to sleep with you and then move on.
Yeah.
So you, the woman in your mind, all of this is on a comfortable lead. The guy is taking you to the family, taking you to the village, taking you to go and see his project. So you are just releasing that, losing up. Now, no, so he does that. He builds confidence. At some point in time, he needs some money to invest in some business. So you two are giving the money and then everything. It's all scam.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about foreign
Actually,
scam.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
hold,
local.
Hold on, let me ask.
Yes.
So this is a guy who set out like that.
Yes.
So it's not like you did anything.
No, you didn't.
It happens both ways.
Yes.
Come.
Well, yes.
It happens both ways.
No, so I want us to take it one after the other
Yes.
because this new one is new.
Oh,
for
yes.
me.
Oh no, it's been there from long.
It's there.
So the person actually a man can actually set out that I will. So if you say he has
Okay,
been-
Mami Chomuye.
Is it that he has been wanting this one, or the woman has been playing hard to get reason you can go to all this length knowing that you're not taking the
It's
guy
not,
is a
no,
player,
no.
simply.
It's not about the woman.
It's not about the woman.
No, it's not about the woman. It has never been about any of the victims.
Okay.
No, it's about him and what he wants.
Yeah.
Let me explain to you. Let me explain the playbook.
Well,
Let me
there is
explain the
plenty of
playbook.
I'll
fish.
come and get your explanation.
Well,
I'll take it
there is plenty of fish. Why would you want to just catch that big group of fish and then just get to have to eat it for a task? When you can be eating red fish today, herring tomorrow.
So this guy obviously hasn't made up his mind to settle.
No. But he has all the trimmings that will make a woman be attracted to him. Yes, he's an eligible bachelor. Okay, so he drives a good car. He lives well.
Has a good job.
He has a good job. He speaks well. He's that type of guy. When you introduce your family,
he's a catch.
He's a catch. You understand? Exactly.
He's a nonsense guy.
Exactly. Yeah. And you see, most often you find out that it's also a factor of when they actualized. For most people,
they ever settle down?
Well, sometimes they do, but that's after they've golfed a bit and they've painted the city red a bit. Most of them start from a hard place, so they start seeing real money when they are in their 30s, and then that's all the time. After I've seen the life and the money, that's when you want me to settle down. No, when I was hustling in my 20s and everything, I mean, no woman will even look at me twice. Now look at me. When I enter the room, like everybody's looking at me. So why don't I just take it to the next level? And you can't date one person for 2 years. And then no, Charlie, time no day. So Charlie, quick. You expedite the dates.
The players perfect the game of playing.
I said his how do you call it? His tagline for his life should be time no day. Everything, everything you are talking about. Oh, we have a meeting, Charlie. We for do them now. Time no day. Everything time no day.
Now, those players, what they've done, they do is that they perfect the art of playing. They know what women want to hear.
Yeah.
So Obetimi say,
but that is wickedness. Oh.
Yes.
Well, like all forms of scam.
To them, it is being playing smart.
Oh, yeah. No.
So he can have a suitcase full of cloth and all those things he used to marry a woman.
Yeah.
Then he starts dating you. He knows that what you are interested in is marriage.
Somebody has an engagement ring in his Range Rover, right?
Every
Range
time
Rover.
you see somebody
in this our car here. Now you just be moving around with you, pick you twice, thrice, one time in the middle of the road, like for dramatic reason, he just parks his car, pull his, brake, just pull an engagement ring out. And then Charlie, what else is there again? The next moment, Charlie, action is going on. He has you, and after a while, he just gives you some little drama and then moves on with his life.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah.
You get to keep the ring.
The girls also decide that...
No, he's taking the ring back. He's dumping you.
The girls also decide that this guy, I'm not going to marry him.
Exactly.
But between this period and this period, I have to get this and that from him.
Exactly.
So they would come home on weekends, cook, clean, show you everything that makes them look like the perfect woman to marry.
So you both are lying to
then you relax. Then he will start with the demands in a very direct, very subtle, and be telling the problems and how they have to fix them. And if you are the kind of man who is empathetic and kind,
yes,
you bite the bait. Then you start dishing out. No, no do level no or say at this point you are becoming too attached. And sure or titin ho a bed there. Goes to you.
One drum and goes
so
to you.
Those people too are there. But
yeah,
this is so let me find out seriously for a woman who is with this kind of man and you think that is going good. Apparently at the back of their minds they're just into play and go away.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can see to tell you that this guy is just a playboy?
Unfortunately, it will be very difficult.
Hey!
Because they love bomb you. They love bomb you. And sometimes, who doesn't want to be love bombed? I mean, that love bomb is like the experience that you find in romantic comedies and, in movies and in is it Mills and Booms or Sweet Valley, whatever.
So,
yeah, exactly. That's so when somebody's doing it, you'll be in the office. Like, how many times do people receive flowers? And if you are receiving flowers like once a week, I mean, that's like intense, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll be there and it's a food basket. I mean, you're just like, how much of it will you eat? But the food basket, once it comes, you know that it becomes a colleague business. Then colleagues start mounting pressure on you, Charlie. Where this one is coming from, the child, don't let it go. The man is good.
Yeah.
And so then naturally it comes. Sometimes you just be there and then just like a surprise gets away. Edem, you know how many women can actually survive under this? It's only when you decide that, listen, I need to see beyond the smoke screen to start asking deep questions. Start having hard conversations. But then again, this is where it gets murkier. Nobody wants to rock the boat. Charlie, the thing they be, just keep quiet and enjoy it. Especially for women who are also not coming from a place where they are comfortable and they are successful, or they've seen money before. So these things don't, their fathers have loved them. They come from a place where they are loved, they are cared for. So you can't use these things to whatever. So immediately, if the woman is not from that place, then these things become very overwhelming. And so you don't want that dream to end. So you also keep indulging it. You keep indulging it until you wake up one day and boom, it was all a dream.
That even then, when you begin to see the signs, you always find yourself trying to
justify,
to
be
justify,
nice,
to
kind,
apologize, and want to be there. Oh, but this is really very painful.
And then
But that's what is
one way
happening,
to
but that's
catch
what
or to
we
be
are going to
suspicious
now.
is when there's a lot of secrecy.
Yeah.
When they tell you, oh, I'm not close to my family, they don't want to introduce you to anybody from their
Exactly.
family.
Well,
they only
yes.
introduce you to
Good.
their boys, their drinking buddies, and nobody else. So you don't really know much about them.
They're very
a lot
evasive.
of their past
they are very
is a
evasive.
mystery.
Yeah.
You don't know
Yes.
where they're coming from. You don't know what school they went to, and you don't even know what work they do. I think these things, and there's a lot of unpredictability. I mean, there are times you cannot call me, and I'm on a trip somewhere, and they don't tell you, they don't give you all the details. I think that's when you should start wondering whether this person is real.
You see, 1 + 1 is always 2. Anytime your 1 + 1 gives you 3, don't sleep. Me, I don't sleep, and I'm analytical like that. So as soon as it doesn't add up, I'm like, no way.
So my
Adam is confused.
I am actually, especially on this one. Then I am wondering. So, what? I mean, not for you to answer now. Just thoughts. We may find answers to them later. What should we even start telling our young ones, our daughters, girls, what to really also look out for when it comes to men? Because then it looks like a lot of them are out there just to toy with your heart and dump it. And like PG said, that if the person is not coming from a background where they have known love, attention, and all that, you see a guy who does these things for you and you think the person is an answered prayer, and you're going all out. Maybe you're not sleeping with them, but your heart is gone, and your emotions, you're so invested, and you're planning the future with them, when in actual fact they're just love bombing you.
Actually,
No,
Edem,
it is scary for me.
now it is. We used to think that it is men or the boys who were bad like that, but now we are realizing that the girls are even badder.
Well, I don't even want us to talk about that aspect, because now we're focusing on the men. You know, we're focusing on the men. Otherwise, conversation.
But this is about men. So the men are falling prey to such bad girls. The men are falling prey to such bad girls. So the girl is not coming with an idea that, you know what, I need to keep.
So how do you also identify that girl?
One of it is exact same thing. See, the girl is dating 5 men. This one is for rent.
Oh yes.
This one is for hair.
That's what
This one is for this. That's what is happening now.
I'm just wondering, like, how do you know like that?
When as soon as she keeps telling you,
you're old school, Adam.
this weekend I'm not available. I have to go to my hometown because my auntie is dead. You better call the auntie and find out, because only big man because
you haven't been introduced to the auntie.
Exactly.
So then you ask which auntie, and some makers and my sister, uncle, brother,
or sometimes.
Don't worry, I will call you.
No, you see your process. No, the process sometimes can be too long. My phone fell and it went off. So it is just this Monday that a friend of mine gave me their
that means they're trying to get you to buy them a phone.
Yes.
Thank you very much. By the weekend it will be off.
Now I want to talk about 2 things, and then we'll zoom into the conclusion of this conversation, because then you see the way the conversation is going, it is looking like marriage is now a risk taking.
Oh yes,
Huge risk.
It is
Huge risk.
It is you taking the risk, because you can. I mean, the person can appear as an angel. You could tick all these boxes and do everything, and it still could go south, because you, of course, you can go into their minds. You can really go into their hearts, and somebody could actually imagine that you're married to somebody, and after God knows how many years, the woman you have loved and flaunted all these years, you realize that all the 3 children you have with the person are not yours.
But
so like
this week we've had 2 situations like that.
I know. So it is a very big risk. So the final leg of the conversation is me asking, Okay, now, so should we accept it as a risk and you hope that after doing all of these things, when you go in, it works? Or there must be, or there can be some level of preparedness that can make it like 80%, 90% doable. But ahead of that, one thing I have also realized now is the age thing. You know, when we were growing up, it was such that the man must always be older than the woman.
Yeah.
But now it looks like that is not an issue anymore. And I mean, I was actually scared the day my son told me that, oh, he doesn't mind marrying a woman who's older than him.
I think it's a fantasy most young
more boys men have at some point in time.
12 or 11 or so. Or like, you're gonna ask why. I said, oh, so that she can be mommy. I said, oh.
And that's how many kids fall in love with their female teachers.
They are female teachers and their mother's friends.
Yeah, and their mother's friend. Yeah.
No, they have plenty. I have one in Kofi's house.
Oh yeah.
You understand? So I want to find out from you men here. I mean, does age really still matter? But Kofi, you want to say something?
I think I wanted to touch on the impact of social media on relationships these days. You know, social media connects people and doesn't allow people to actually get to know who they are becoming or interacting with. So it's all these fluffy messages in inbox, and we get to know each other and we like each other. We're spending a lot of time chatting and all. And then before we know, we're in love. And by the time we actually meet, there's so much that we're ready to do without taking the time to get to know these people. So I think social media is making really a lot of these things. Yes. And so you think you know somebody, but you really don't. It's a whole new life that they're presenting on social media that makes you think that
you live the whole relationship on social media.
And Edem, to add to that, you know, because most relationships now are just text based. You know, most relationships are now being built through text or chat. You know, the emotional it's not deep. You know, because text is emotionally neutral. You understand? So you cannot communicate a lot of emotions through text unless you actually verbalize it or you actually type it out. But it's very difficult for it to be missing. So a lot of relationships are developing, but they don't have that deep emotional connection. You understand? So it makes it very, very transactional. And so sometimes you can see a couple. You go out to the mall or you go to the open spaces. You see a couple sitting there. They are out to have fun, but everybody's on their phone. You know, everybody is distracted. You understand? So that's just that. But to your question, is there something that can be done?
I want us to talk about the age thing first.
Okay. So I feel that in essence, ordinarily there wouldn't have been any problem with the age. But you see, women generally, our culture has been positioned or set up in such a way that women are forced to mature faster. You know, by just the very fact of the way they are raised. You know, so they learn a lot of things. So by the time a woman is like 30 years, you know, she is probably dealing with, if you pick a man who should have the same level of development on the average, you said such a man will probably be like 37 or 35. You understand? But that level of development, that depth, that gravitas would have been developed by a woman who is probably at 30 because of the pressure to grow, to develop. I mean, your mother, if you oversleep, your mother's insult is, "I pity the man who marry you." If your dress is dirty or something is torn in your dress, you didn't even see that the hem is loose.
Put it this way: women get streetwise earlier.
Smarter. Yes.
Because by 14, 15, when they develop the adipose and the breast and all those things, men start making advances. Now they learn the skill of having to sift all the advances for which ones to choose and which ones not to choose. At that time, a boy's interest is in playing football and doing other things. So by the time the girl gets to 25, she's far experienced when it comes to men compared to a boy. So women mature faster, and there's usually a gap of between 5 and 8 years between them if they are supposed to be of the same age. So it is normally not advisable to be of the same age
as the woman. Okay.
As the woman.
I really wanted Kobe to finish the
PG.
PG. Sorry.
Yes. So, you know, when you pick that age gap, I mean, Okay, so I lost my train of thought. Let me come back to it again. Okay, so yes, so normally the woman would develop, pretty faster. So even on the same age, you see a significant level of development, or in terms of a higher level of critical thinking, and ability to. When I say critical thinking, let me get it clear here. I don't mean on a general cognitive level, but in terms of when it comes to everyday life experiences, especially yes, as it applies to the house. Let me put it that way, so I don't create any controversy out there. So you find out that the woman is more mature. So can you imagine if this time around they are not even on the same level, but rather it's actually the other way around. The woman is naturally already mature, even if they were on the same age level. Now you're about 5 years older than the guy. So one, again, chances are that all things being equal, the woman is potentially also self-actualized more than the guy. You understand? I'm saying that all things being equal, unless we are looking at a situation where the guy might be 30 years but has a lot of money, and the woman is like maybe 37 years but it's nothing. But if you pick a woman who is like equally maybe like 37 years and is wealthy, doing well, there is an age gap and a maturity problem that a guy has to deal with. Now there is also a woman who is financially stronger than you. So there is a lot of direct control and perceived control. You see,
from the woman.
Yes, direct control, because sometimes she might just lose her patience and just call you to order. You understand? Because in terms of maturity, you are frustrating her. Don't forget that she might probably be in a space where most of the men she interacts with, they are older than you. So she's used to men thinking on a certain level.
Exactly.
She's used to men behaving in a certain way. But you are 30 years. It's not your fault that you don't have this social experience. You haven't gotten there yet. But then you've tied yourself to her. So there are times where she might forget herself that she's dealing with a 30-year-old man and expect something like from a 45-year-old man. And so you might not be able to do that. So then that direct control might be there out of frustration. Then there is a perceived control. Sometimes she's not controlling you. She's just telling you things for what it is. But because most of the time when she starts thinking, it's like a superior argument. She's able to. Sometimes you begin to feel that, are you trying to control me? Are you trying to?
Are you saying I don't have brains?
I don't have brains. Yes, but that's actually what is happening. You understand? So then, before you know, you end up start talking to girls who are your age mates or younger than you. Now you realize that there is a woman who treats you like a baby, but there's control. Now you are dealing with a younger woman who treats you like a baby, but then you are in control. And you are the one who is probably taking the money from a big woman to give to the small girl. And so you feel comfortable, but you are the big woman. But usually it doesn't go far. And when it leads to marriage, you find significant frustration, especially with the guy, in terms of
self-esteem issues.
Yes, self-esteem issue, how he sees himself. So there's always a younger girl in the picture.
Then your ego will come to play.
Exactly. Or the woman has to beat herself down to come low just for the guy to feel good. Especially for women who really want to keep it. And I mean, it's an issue. We know so many women.
So come here, a moment. Yes. Come here, PJ, let me find out. So what would you advise?
I never, ever advise women to date younger guys. Ever. Okay. I don't.
Women,
I don't.
To the point I was going to, women are socialized to look up to their men.
Exactly.
That is why they like the men in power, the big men, and all that. They always need, they can't respect you if they can't look up to you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, unless it's a relationship that both of you agree that it is just touch and go, so there's no long-term commitment. No, as for that, the age doesn't matter.
So very often, but when you find a 37-year-old woman settling with a 30-year-old man, most likely she looked at the guy's physiology.
Yeah.
So his build and everything is such that it doesn't show he's a small boy.
Yeah.
So he likes like muscular, handsome, blah blah blah, memba humbefe, those kind of things. Then the next one,
had a terrible experience with people her age and decides that, you know what, even if he's younger, it's okay.
And sometimes too, on the face value, these young guys are able to make very mature, overwhelmingly beautiful arguments. And so they're like, oh, he's young, but he's mature. I get that. He's young, but he's mature. Wait, just give him a real life experience. And that's why he's still the maturity.
He has perfected the act of taking her to cloud 9 and back.
Exactly.
So all she's thinking about is how good he makes me feel in the room. But it is always short-lived.
Would you advise?
No way.
Kofi, how about you?
I think it depends on the individuals. their maturity levels, we should not always look at maturity in terms of age. Yeah. There are people who are 30 and they behave like 15. They're 15. There are people who are 15 and they behave so it depends on the individuals. However, as far as taking into consideration your compatibility levels, you need to know what to expect if you're getting married to a certain or a person of a particular age. If this person is much, much older, maybe they would want to control me. At some point, they may be jealous of my friends because, they are not doing social media and I'm on social media all the time.
Exactly.
Or, some people are just simply
the
looking
gap should
for...
not be wide.
Yeah, the gap should not be wide.
That is the bottom line.
Wide.
They should not be wide.
Yes.
Normally, it shouldn't be more than 3 years if the woman is old.
Because at the point where you are now, you're still in your prime, this guy is going through midlife crisis and thinking about retirement and what am I going to do when I retire and where, and you are now thinking about actually building your life. So when the gap is too wide, that's what. However, we should also remember that there are women out there who are looking for father figures in a marriage. Some people they were too close to their fathers or they never had a father figure in their lives. So they are not looking for a husband per se. They want
somebody to father them.
And so they are very comfortable being with a man who is 20, 30 years their senior.
Great.
But you see, then it becomes a problem for the man, because if you are 20 years senior, 30 years senior, remember that biologically, as a man, you build testosterone at an increasing rate up to the age of 30. From 30 onwards, you start building your testosterone at a decreasing rate, and you are losing 1% every year. So by 40, you've left 10% of your virility. So if the gap is so wide, how will you be able to satisfy that woman when you are in your 60s and 70s, when she's still in her 40s? Or
that's an area problem. That's an area problem.
Conversation has really been very insightful. So in the face of all these uncertainties, I'm sure there are lots of people who are saying that, Charlie, make we just don't marry, because what's the point?
When they talk about,
but these are men, married, counselors, have experiences, right? So I'm sure they will tell you that, listen, marriage is a good thing. How then do you make the choice? How then are you sure that regardless of all the challenges, people will change, things will happen? I know that I could or may be disappointed and all that, but I still want to make it work. What then are your responsibilities? What then do we have to do? Especially so in the case of the man. How much more deeply is he supposed to look when he's choosing? We agree that it won't be 100% right, but it could make it work. Now, the joy of every parent is to see their children cheerful and hearty. And to achieve this desire, every parent needs to ensure that their children are given nutritious foods that has the essential nutrients and the multivitamins which can promote their welfare. And one of such nutritious beverages is Vitamilk soy milk drink. It is made from natural soybeans, which is a good source of plant protein, vitamin B1 and B2. Vitamilk has no artificial coloring, flavorings, or preservatives. So go on and choose the Vitamilk Champ for your children because it has plant protein and it is nutritious, amazingly delicious and satisfying. Vitamilk also comes in its regular soy milk drink. You can have the Vitamilk Energy, the multi-cereal with no caffeine, the choco, the banana, the strawberry. You can buy it in the 1 liter Tetra Pak or the 250 mils. Vitamilk is indeed a nutritious beverage that feels good anywhere, anytime. And Pentecost Hour is a religious broadcast program sponsored by the Church of Pentecost, which comes your way with the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Edem Knight-Tay. 1:30 p.m. on Joy FM every Sunday, 5:30 Mondays on Hits FM, 7 a.m. on Saturdays on Joy Prime. Tune in every Saturday, Monday, and Saturday as Apostle Knight-Tay brings you life-transforming truth that nourishes the soul, ignites passion, and restores hope to the nations. The Church of Pentecost, we are possessing the nation for the Lord. And why don't you discover the rich, creamy taste of Dano milk? Because it perfectly complements your breakfast and it delivers that delightful flavor you've always craved. Dano milk is fortified with vitamin A and D, and it's also a good source of protein. We're talking about calcium, also vitamin B2, B12, potassium, and phosphorus. And all of this will keep you nourished every day. Get your quality Dano Cool Cow Instant Powdered Milk for an unparalleled taste, experience, and your nourishment. Dano milk, go for it. Dano milk is good for you. And remember, this advert is FDA approved. So yes, we have about some 10 minutes to go. We've talked a lot, but I mean, quickly from, you, and I'll start with you, Kofi. Still, we want it to work.
Yeah.
You don't want people to be, just going about like, this new scam people.
Yeah.
No. We have daughters and, nieces and, to think about. Mm-hmm. So still, when a man is going out, what can make it work regardless of all of these?
I think we should do well not to make relationships too transactional. I mean, a certain level of transactional relationship may be okay because you're expecting, you know what the qualities you're bringing, and you're expecting certain qualities from the other person, and that's okay. However, I think we should focus more on values, the things that will outlive the normal everyday shenanigans. Are they kind? How do they care about me? How are they truthful and honest? Because if somebody is not truthful and honest, it will be very easy for them to be unfaithful or cheat on you. So those things I think are more important than how much money do they bring to the table and things that really can change easily.
Great. Thank you. So from Kofi, it will be that, yes, all of these things are there. But if you really want to make it work, from the two of you, you try not to make it transactional and make sure that you're building it on true values. Yeah. Thank you very much, Kofi. To you, Kobe.
First, know who you are and what you can take and what you cannot take. Then once you know that, it will inform who you can choose. Now, if you have to choose the person, focus more on values because they are the core of the person. The values will determine what choices the person will make. So if the person has lower moral standard, then you should know that the person will flip and flop when difficult times come. And like I said, for us, fidelity is number one. We don't want to share. So if you know the person gives you that vibe that there's a possibility you'll be sharing, don't even go there. Yeah.
Great.
Simple.
Fidelity, you also mentioned values,
yes.
And then know who you are and what you can take.
Yeah.
Great. And then, PG, before I hear from you,
right.
Our console is somebody will say flooded.
Buzzing.
Let me. Daniela, the thing is not working. Okay, says Edem, indeed. Marriage, indeed. Scanning, just 7 months along the marriage, but I would not die for her. Oh, okay, indeed. Marriage, indeed, is scary. Just 7 months along the marriage, but I will not die for her. This is. I'm not sure you want me to mention your names. I'm not mentioning the name. Oh, Irade. Good morning, Edem. Marriage is lottery. Oh, really? That has been my philosophy in life. This is from Edwin.
That win or you lose.
Oh, Charlie. Is that what we have reduced this institution God created to? Please don't let Edem escape. Let us see what we know about them women. Women, they thought guys know how to have multiple numbers. What did I do here? What did I do? Oh. Okay, hold on. Somebody is asking me, are you pursuing your own agenda for all of us? Listen to the men. But I have been listening, though. Me, I've been listening and just wondering. Like, sometimes I get very shocked and I'm not sure if, like, these things are even real. You know, how do you set out as a human being that, yeah, I'm a cool guy, I have my car, I have my house, and all I want to do is, you know, be breaking people's hearts all over the place. And what is that? Then stay somewhere.
That's not how they see it.
Exactly.
No, or when you get into the relationship, let the person understand that I just want to fling, and let the person agree to come with you on that line.
They won't.
Why do you go? And
No, they won't get the type of girls they want.
They won't get the type. Yes.
Seriously, I think it is like wickedness, pound. People like that. And you should be judged.
God should punish them.
We'll buy snaps and 3 eggs.
They should be put away. People like that should be jailed because that one I can't understand.
Both men and women, right? Okay, good.
Come to the table.
See,
Come to the table.
there was one guy that the
what is
girl
that?
was with him on weekend and said, I'm traveling. The next Saturday, he heard that she was getting married to somebody
but
else.
why? You see, those ones I can't understand it because come clean.
Yeah.
And my parents didn't give birth to me for you.
Yeah.
You two, you weren't born for me. And we have grown. People have values, like we're saying.
Yeah.
And see, the person may be willing to come on a fling with you. Make it clean, but don't be wicked. And let me come on with my heart, my being, my everything, thinking that I'm building a relationship. When in your heart you're just fooling me.
Yeah.
No way.
No, but Edem, it's transactional. I mean, if you were selling something,
Edem.
if you were selling something and somebody, if you were selling something and somebody came that they wanted to buy it, will you say that? Oh, actually, this one, to be honest with you, I bought it from China. It's 20 Ghana cedis, but I'm selling for you for 150 Ghana cedis. I mean, Edem, will you start from there? You won't.
See, the last time
In order to justify your 150 Ghana cedis, you say my profit was for 2 Ghana cedis.
PG, I can say, the last time I went to the market, I took my watches. You know, my colleagues here, they know. I took my watches to the market to go and change the batteries. When I got there, the guy told me that battery, you were 10 Ghana, you were 20 Ghana, there were 50 Ghana.
That's an honest one.
Which one do you like? And you see, my mind was telling me that way. The Okacha is a 50 Ghana and 10 Ghana. I told the guy, and the house spots.
Exactly, and I think that's the same approach. It's not about you.
Corporate
I
leaders.
have to give PG the opportunity to make his last one.
Exactly. So the issue is not about you. The issue is about what they are getting. You know. But anyway, Edem,
We are serious.
like what my colleagues have said. Yes, at some point in time, I mean, if you've checked out the basic things, you know, the main decisive things I feel you need to look for is trust and reliability.
Okay.
We all need a partner that we can trust and rely on. Because you see, life wasn't meant to be traveled alone or to be done alone. You need someone you can trust to be in your corner. You understand? And so immediately reliability and trust goes out of a relationship. You see that it begins to struggle. Now, in order to also build that, you also need some level of shared experiences and, you know, shared values and goals. So that is the only way me and you can sit and even talk, do things together to build this trust and reliability. But if you're going to the east and I'm going to the west, how do we even end up building reliability? Because at every point in time, we are both in different directions. I cannot rely on you and you can also rely on me. So, you know, that there's shared values. And then emotional connection. Try and connect. Because if you don't, that is where the relationship gets reduced to transaction. Because there is no emotional connection. And then the final thing, as Kobe said, know who you are. I think that first and foremost, you need to understand who you are, how you love, how you want to be loved, your temperament, whether you are, introverted person, you are an extroverted person. You need to know your background. You need to know your aspirations in life. Like literally, you need to know yourself. You see, if you don't know yourself, how then do you decide who you want in your corner? If you don't know yourself, assuming you are just even a business owner and decide I want to start a business and you don't know who you want, you might end up recruiting a marketer when actually you need a factory hand. You understand? So knowing yourself as a person will determine the exact right fit of person you are looking for.
Two bosses in that office.
Exactly.
So the concluding notes are: know who you are, don't make it too transactional, values run across it, you're looking for trust and reliability, shared experiences, and make sure you're building emotional connections. So if you're building emotional connections and you're not making it transactional, then you will be talking a lot of values, which will inure to your benefit. Someone says that, good morning, Edem and team. Wow, scary revelations. Expiry dates from
either sex.
Sex. God help us. Yes, indeed. Oh, especially you the young ones.
You see this expiry dates thing in the corporate world today. You have a lot of ladies who are deciding that I don't love this guy, but I want to marry and have children for him.
Yeah.
And after they get
Kobe, I have to go.
They walk out.
This one is so you guys are just speaking my mind. I am becoming a drunkard because of what is going on in my home. This is from Alex in La Paz. Alex, you don't have to become a drunkard. They want women to. Okay, good morning, Edem. Sometimes there are no reasons. One reason that men will never want women to know is that there are many men who will simply get tired of being with you no matter what you do. Men do not want you to know this so that you, the woman, will blame yourself if a relationship or marriage doesn't work out. I am a man. I know what I am saying. Women should not always blame themselves for adverse relationship outcomes. They want women to accept their side chicks without complaint.
Thank you.
And he says, oh, how? And
Thank
that
you.
is the
From a guy.
That sometimes is the peace of mind
The peace
they
of
are
mind.
asking for.
And we all went around it.
Like PG, it's true. But you know the truth, and I mean that might be a Nigerian movie. I watched a Nigerian movie, and the guy told the girl that I love you very much, but I am too good for one woman. Do you still?
He needs to open branches.
do you still want to? And the lady turned around. Am I not enough? He says you are beautiful. I want you, but you see I can't be with you alone. And in as much as it is wrong, me I like his honesty. He put who he is on the table. If you like, take. If you don't like, but if you agree to stay, then tomorrow you start saying, where are you? Where have you gone? It is you who is being, so the ones
or
that
expect him to change.
The ones that you described here, those people will deal with them. No, they are not wild. They are wicked.
Yeah, they
are
become mountain of
wicked.
fire.
Men nada, yeah, fan chum. Those ones.